In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Hello, my dear students of grade 11. Welcome again to the Department of English and to Atmaze Model School. Of course, today we are going to deal with Unit 1, Lesson 4, 5, and 6. We have students' book on page 14 and 15, workbook on page 6 and 7. Today, inshallah, we are going to deal with grammar. Of course, if you like to deal with the grammar reference on page 123 as well as page 124. So let's start by a revision for the past simple and the past continuous. Then we are going to deal with modal verbs, can, could, be able to, manage to, and intensifiers. Now, for the past simple, we use the past simple to talk about completed past actions. An example here, Turks brought coffee to Constantinople in 1453. Decaffeinated coffee was invented in 1903. You see here, brought in the simple past and was invented. Of course, this is a simple past passive voice. We use the past simple to talk about generally true or repeated past actions. For example, the Gala people in Ethiopia ate coffee beans for energy. And the verb here, you see, it's in the past and it's a repeated action in the past. The past continuous, we use the past continuous to talk about one background activities or actions. For example, it was so sunny morning, or it was a sunny morning, we were driving along the motorway. 2, we use the past continuous also to talk about past actions or events in progress when something happened. We were listening to music when suddenly there was a loud explosion. And here you see, this is the past continuous to be in the past plus verb plus ing. Now we have the modal verbs. The modal verbs, as you know them, can, could, be able to, and manage to. And you will find this on the student's book, section grammar reference, pages 123 and 124. Modal verbs, they express abilities and inabilities. We use can, can't, could, and couldn't plus the base verb or the base form of the verb to talk about abilities in the present and past. We have examples here. For example, I can run 100 meters in 12 seconds. I can't drive. We can't get out. The doors are locked. We could swim when I was 4 years old. The driver couldn't start the car engine. We use be able to plus the base form of the verb to make other tenses and to talk about other times. For the present perfect, we use I haven't been able to talk since I broke my leg. And the future, I hope I will be able to see better when I get my new glasses. We have also modal verbs, abilities, and achievements. We use could to talk about general abilities in the past. For example, I could swim when I was 4 years old. I couldn't swim until I was nearly 9 years old. But we have to use manage it to or be able to when it's when we talk about a particular occasion in the past. We often use these verbs when we achieve something that was difficult to do. The door was locked, but we managed to get out by breaking a window. So not we could get out. So whenever you are, it's not general here to say that whenever the door was locked, we managed to get by the breaking window, but it's an occasion in which we managed to break the window and get out. The engine couldn't or wouldn't start. In the end, we were able to start it by pushing it down a hill, and here not we could start it. We usually use couldn't for negative sentences. The door was locked and we couldn't. Here you see it's the negative. It's a negative sentence. Couldn't break a window to get out. Now please take your student's book. Open your student's book on page 14. And here exercise number 1. Look at the sentences which underlined verbs refer to general ability and which refer to ability on one occasion. You have time here. Number A, I can't drive, so I didn't hire a car. Yes, that's it. It's a general ability. I couldn't even see the people standing around me. It's an ability on one occasion. We couldn't afford to fly home, so we decided to go by train. It's an ability on one occasion. D, we couldn't speak the language very well. Which ability is? It's a general ability. Number E, the power went on again. The train was able to start. And here it's an ability on one occasion. And finally, fortunately, he managed to start the engine and drove me to my hotel. It's an ability on one occasion. Now, we have here Now discuss these questions with a partner. Do sentence 1A to F refer to past, present, or future tense or time? Of course, here, A, it's present time. B, it's past time. Which sentences are negative? It's A, B, C, and D. What other verbs could replace managed to in sentence 1? It's was able to start. Exercise number 3, complete this short story using could, couldn't, managed to, or managed to in each gap. You have time to think about this, try to read this as a whole, and then answer this question. When I reached Scotland, I celebrated New Year's Eve with my aunt and uncle. It was the most fantastic event I've ever taken part in. I Excellent. Couldn't wait to see and take part in the world famous Hogmanay Festival festivities for myself. I, yes, good. I could hear the sound of bagpipes as soon as I stepped onto the main street in Edinburgh. My aunt and uncle managed to find a nice cafe for us to meet before the celebrations began at 10 p.m. I, excellent, couldn't hide my excitement and seeing the sky filled with fireworks at midnight. There were people waving flags everywhere and we could see families singing traditional Scotch songs near the museum. I managed to take lots of photos of the fireworks before the festival ended. Now we have the intensifiers. Intensifiers, you will find them on page 124. Quite, for example, really, very, a little, pretty, print, fairly, extremely, absolutely. All these are intensifiers. Exercise number 4, add one of the intensifiers in the correct place in the following sentences. Example, it's quite hot today. I am a little tired today. You are absolutely right. They got a brand new car. Now let's work on sentence number A. You must be good at organizing your time. We can say you must be quite, really, very, pretty, fairly, extremely good at organizing your time. So we use here the intensifier quite, really, very, pretty, fairly, extremely before the adjective Good. They are preoccupied today. And we can say they are quite, really, very, pretty, fairly, extremely, a little preoccupied today. He is my best friend. And we can say he is my very best friend, or he is absolutely my best friend. That was a good book. We can say that was a quite, really, very, pretty, fairly, extremely good book. Now, step 5, your student's book, page 15. Of course, here we have some new vocabulary that we are going to introduce them very quickly. And let's start by the first word. It's the word bagpipes. Repeat after me. Bagpipes, bagpipes, bagpipes. You see them here? They are using bagpipes. Bagpipes here, it's a noun. A bagpipe is a musical instrument that is played especially in Scotland, and that has a bag, a tube for blowing air into the bag, and the pipe where the air leaves and make sounds. We have an example here. In Scotland and Ireland, musicians play bagpipes in festivities. Repeat, bagpipes. Another word is the word carnival. Carnival. Repeat, carnival. It's a noun here. And of course, it's a special occasion or period of public enjoyment and entertainment involving wearing unusual clothes, dancing and eating and drinking, usually held in the streets of the city. Here we have an example. The Hogmanay festivity, which celebrates the new year, has local events such as street party, carnivals, and fireworks. Another word here, it's the word celebratory, celebratory, celebratory. Celebratory here, it's an adjective, and it means celebrating an important event or a special event. Hogmanay, for example, is a celebratory event. Celebratory event. Now, listen and repeat. Display, display, display. So display, it's a performance or a show for people. Here, it's a show for people. It's a wonderful display, isn't it? Festivity, repeat, festivity, festivity. Festivity here, it's a noun. It means the parties, meals, and other special activities with which people celebrate a special occasion. For example, Hogmanay is a great festivity. Another vocabulary here, and it's a verb. I think you know this word. It's hire, hire, hire. It's a verb. Hire, it means to pay, to use something for a short period. It means to rent, to rent. Example, if you want to travel to Scotland, you can hire a car, for example. Preoccupied, preoccupied, repeat, preoccupied, preoccupied. Preoccupied here is an adjective, and it means thinking or worrying about something too much. An example of that, why do you think the father is preoccupied? Take part. Repeat, take part, take part, take part. Take part here is a phrasal verb. It is a verb with here a preposition. It means to participate. An example, do you want to visit Edinburgh and take part in Hogmanay Festival on 31st of December? Now let's speak about intensifiers. Intensifiers like quite, really, very, a little, pretty, print, fairly, extremely, absolutely, and you will find about them on page 124. And here intensifiers, an adverb which is used to modify adjectives and adverbs. but which is not usually used to modify verbs. So here, it's an adverb which modifies adjectives, but which is not usually used to modify verbs, can be referred to as intensifiers like quite, really, very, a little, pretty, brand, fairly, extremely, absolutely, etc. Intensifiers always come before the words they modify. For example, the film was quite good. You did that pretty well. I was fairly certain about that. He was extremely surprised by the friend's arrival. Now, your student's book, page 15, please. Open your student's book, page 15. Phrasal verbs combine a verb with a preposition, as I have just said about that. Now, look up in a glossary, in the glossary or dictionary, the meaning of the verbs in italics. For example, the lights went out and everything was completely black. What's the meaning here of went out or go out? Excellent. To be extinguished. To be extinguished. Number two, this went on for about 10 minutes. It means went on means continued. Continued. When the fire bell went off, the students had to leave the classroom. It's very easy here. What's the meaning of went off? Excellent. It means to begin or to sound or to begin to sound. Number four, my family is going away for 2 weeks in the summer. And here, going away means leaving. The price of bread has gone up again. Gone up here, it means to increase. And the last one, I got up late, so I had to go without breakfast this morning. And here, it means to miss. Now, think of possible answers to these questions. Why do fires go out? When water, for example, is thrown on them. What makes car alarms go off? When someone tries to break into the car. Good. Why do prices go up or go down? When the government increases or reduces taxes. What happens if you go without food? I feel hungry and try to lose weight. Now, exercise number 2. Here we have a noun, verb, adjective, and adverb. Of course, fill in the table with the correct form of the word. We have the parts of speech here, noun, verb, adjective, and adverb. For example, celebration, the verb celebrate, adjective celebratory, and there is no adverb. So what's the adjective for festivity and the noun? What's the noun, the verb of the word crowded? What is the noun and the adjective of a joyfully? And here occasional, we have a noun, a verb, and an adverb. Extravagance, we have adjective and an adverb. Now, let's start. Of course, festivity or festively, festival, it's a noun, and festive, it's an adjective. Crowded, noun is crowd, and the verb is also crowd. Joyfully, the noun is joy, and the adjective is joyful. Occasional, the noun is occasion, the verb is occasion, and the adverb is occasionally. Extravagance, extravagant, it's the adjective, and extravagantly, it's the adverb. Now, my dear students, please let's move and open your workbook. It's lesson 6, page 6 and 7. Page 6 and 7. As you see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 tasks on page 6. Let's start by the first one. Complete these sentences with one of the phrasal verbs from the box. make sure you use the correct verb tense. We have be not go, go through, go off, go on, go out, go to, go up, and go from. A. You must sleep. You look terrible. You must what? What's here the phrasal verb that we are going to use? It's go to. Excellent. You must go to sleep. Number B. If the price of petrol, again, I will have to stop using my car. It's go up. If the price of petrol goes up. My alarm clock at 6 o'clock every morning. Good, goes off. Number D. Last night the storm went on for nearly 5 hours. It means continuous or continued and finally stopped at dawn. Number E. We couldn't see thing when the lights went out. And last one, we had a very expensive holiday last year, so we are not going this summer. Now, exercise number 2, choose the correct adjective in this sentence. A. I was so nervous about the exam that it was absolutely difficult or impossible. It's let's see here. Okay. So number B, the children were frightened or terrified. So here we can say it's absolutely difficult. Good. Okay, so here we continue. She was absolutely astonished or surprised when she found out she had failed her piano exams. Of course, absolutely surprised. Kuwait City is a very big or enormous city. Very big. That meal was absolutely good or perfect. Thank you very much. Of course, good. Number F, the players felt very exhausted or tired after the 3-hour tennis match. Of course, tired. And Aisha was extremely pleased or delighted when I give her the gold watch she wanted. So she was pleased. Now, exercise number 3, complete the crossword with the following clue. We have here crossword, across and down. Number 1, a person who sells. Do you remember the word? Number 3, an event for celebration. Number 4, the flowers of a tree. Down. Number 2, the entire earth. What do we call the entire earth? Number 5, eaten for sustenance. Number 6, it's a large fortified building generally built of stone in which kings and queens may live. Number 1, it's a vendor. Okay, number 1, it's a vendor. Number 3, an event or celebration. It starts with F, festival. Okay, it's a festival. Number 4, it starts with B and it's blossom. Number 2, the entire world or world. The entire earth, sorry, it's the world. Number 5, eaten for sustenance. It starts with F and it's food. And the last one, a large fortified building where the queens and the kings may live is castle. So now let's move to exercise number 4. Write questions to match the answers. For example, we start by the first one. No, I have never been to the Grain Cultural Festival. And the question here, have you ever been to the Grain Cultural Festival? Let's work on B, C, and D, please. So here's the answer. Yes, I would love to come to your house for dinner. And the question here, would you like to come to my house for dinner? Next one, did Selma used to spend all her time studying indoors? And number D, did the supermarket used to be at the end of this street? Now we have exercise number 5 and 6 as well as 7. It's our workbook, page 7. Here we are going to choose the correct verb in this conversation. How did you learn to make or to ride a horse? I can't or couldn't remember exactly, but I know that I can or could ride. So the first one is, just a moment, please. Okay, here exercise number 5. Choose the correct verbs in this conversation. How did you learn to ride a horse? I can't or couldn't remember exactly. Which one is the right one? Excellent. It's I can't remember. But I know that I could ride when I was only 6 years old. A and B. Have you ever had a ride an accident? Yes, 2 years ago I broke my leg and I 2 years ago can't or couldn't. Here it's couldn't because it's the past for 6 months. What happened? Here A, another conversation. What happened? What happened? So I was riding in the park. My horse ran into a tree. I fell off and the horse fell on the top of me and trapped my leg. I could or couldn't move a little. So I could move it a little, but I, of course, couldn't get it free. Now, number 6, I shouted as loudly as I could, and eventually I managed it, and eventually I managed it. Okay, so to attract someone's attention, and they called the hospital and an ambulance came for me. With great difficulty, they managed to move the horse and pull my leg free. It was then that I realized that I couldn't manage to walk. The paramedics, paramedic, paramedics had to carry me to the ambulance. I am glad you managed to get home, or I am so glad you managed to get some help in the end. Now, exercise number 6, we are going to rewrite the sentences using one of the words here in the box. A. The green trees provide cover and shade along the street, or this here we can say the green trees provide a canopy, okay, a canopy and shade along the street. That was a very impressive performance by grade 9 students. We can say that was a dazzling performance by grade 9 students. Children need to be taken care of by their parents, and we can say children need to be nurtured by their parents. This 19th century art collection is better than any other, and we can say this 19th century art collection is unrivaled. And the last one, the ministry has started a new cultural project in schools. We can say the ministry has launched a new cultural project in schools. Last exercise and exercise number 7 here. What would you say in the following situation? Write a sentence for each sentence or for each one. A. You have been invited to a festival but can't go. What can you say here in this situation? I can say, I'm sorry, I have some work to do. Number B, you are on the way to the celebration or to a celebration but are stuck in traffic and are going to be late. What can you say? What a pity, I will be late. You are turning or returning a faulty DVD to the shop where you purchased it. What can you say here? Excuse me, this DVD isn't functioning properly. Can I have another one? Now, thank you so much and see you in other lessons, my dear students.